everybody feeling? Good. So I want to thank everyone that's gathered out here today. I believe this is one of the most fundamental fights and critical fights that we could possibly be endeavoring in today. Our right to vote, right? Okay. I had to make sure that it was the right crowd out here. Okay. Everything that as a community we feel is important is rooted in our right to vote. If it's climate change, if it's the George Floyd Act, if it's anything, any pressing economic issue, it's rooted in our ability to elect like-minded people to our seats of government. We've seen a lot of transition here in our community, our local community, but we have to keep that going. We have to make sure that our siblings across the nation also have that same right and that same ability to be able to elect like-minded, like-thinking individuals to seats of government. So we are out here as a coalition. We're about 24 local organizations here in Western New York, but it's not just us. We are a part of hundreds of organizations from across New York State that are looking to our great senator to make sure that he's fighting with every tool available to his disposal to make sure that For the People Act makes it not only to a vote in name, but also in substance. We need to make sure that at the last minute, pieces of the legislation doesn't get gutted. We need For the People in its entirety to make it to a vote. So I have some background information because I've been receiving a lot of text messages, direct messages on Facebook, like, what's going on? Is the bill dead? No, the bill is not dead. Tuesday's filibuster was actually a victory for us. All right. As organizations, we are nonpartisan 501c3, but we're just telling you the facts. The facts is that the Democrats needed to be unified in their push to make sure that the bill got to the vote, got to the floor. And there they were. They made sure that that happened. And Republicans filibustered, and that was expected, unfortunately. The event showed the world that Senate Republicans are not even willing to discuss the bill, let alone actually support it. Also, this puts all of us one step closer to actually winning. The conversation now is about any possible amendments to the bill because Manchin, who we all know was a roadblock at this point, proposed some changes, and that's okay right now. But we also need to be having a conversation on how we change the filibuster rule. We know that for what's happening right now, the filibuster rule is used as a racist, sexist, elitist tool in order to block critical pieces of legislation from moving forward in our nation. And that has got to change. A Senate rule that requires 60 votes to pass a bill rather than a simple 51-person majority. But almost all of us have expressed an openness to reforming how this rule happens. We all need to be a part of the conversation to form what this is going to look like. We want to thank Senator Schumer for his work to unify the conference to make sure that the For the People Act goes through again in its entirety. And we need to make sure that all of us as a community come together to support the bill fully intact. Let's not let any obstacles like the filibuster stand in our way. He is our senator right now. A lot of people are saying, well, the fight isn't in New York State. All of our liberation needs to be tied and bound together. We can't look at this as, oh, this is a problem that's happening in Texas or New York State. We know that if they're coming for one of them, they're coming for one of us. And we need to stand in solidarity to make sure that we're protecting any piece of legislation that's going to happen across the nation. As a coalition, we have stood hard and we have stood together united to make sure that we were able to win public campaign financing of elections here in New York State. A lot of us were in the forefront of that fight. But our goal was to make sure that we're able to reduce the influence of big money in politics. We know all of us, I don't know, I don't see any millionaires here. Y'all might be millionaires, I'm not sure, right? But I know, we could speak it into existence, but I know for a fact that a lot of us standing here are waiting to Friday, right? We're waiting to Friday to pay our bills, we're waiting to pay our rent, and we might be okay, but we're living check to check. Right? We don't have discretionary income to throw thousands at elected officials and candidates in hopes that they win, right? And then that's the type of opposition that everyday working people are working against. And we want to take that out. We want to make sure that if your values are aligned with our values, that you also have an opportunity to be a decision maker here in our community. So let's make sure that that happens. So I want to thank some of our organizations that's out here today. Open Buffalo, Citizen Action, Buffalo Urban League, Western New York Peacemakers, National Lawyers Guild, the Western New York chapter, Partnership for the Public Good, Buffalo State College, and many, many more. First, I want to give just a little historical context of why we're even at this point, right? Don't we all have the right to vote? What has happened historically? How did we get to this moment? So my friend, my mentor, Jim Anderson, if you could come up, he's representing Peace Action New York State. He's going to talk a little bit about voting rights in the historical context.
Indeed, indeed. It's good to be here with you, family. You know, all of this beautiful power from the youngest to the oldest. We where we supposed to be. You know, the framework, part of the framework of the Constitution says whenever your government ceases to serve its people, it is your duty. The words it used, it says overturn or abolish that government. Well, you know, when you use those kind of words, people think, oh, bad people. Well, look, we didn't say those words. Those words from way back in history. But what they translate to is to use the processes that are available to you to make change. One of them is the right to assemble and make your petition known. The other is the electoral process. And we're doing some of both of those, and we are utilizing the electoral process because those who we're calling on are those who we elected. And those who we elected have promised to serve. Now, many of y'all have been on the calls that Senator Schumer has been doing around the state for the last few months, and talking about this and knowing how important it is and saying we must. You're right, Senator, we must. And we're coming to tell you there is no back step, not one step back. But let me tell you about the history. Because we didn't just get here because somebody just figured out, oh, we should do this. And many of you, I'll say all of you, represent those who have not only heard the stories of your grandparents, your great-grandparents, have visited the museums and read some of the history that they didn't get out of the book, but even aware of the miseducation that they tried to slide in. And all through it, it tells you how we've been undermined on the electoral scene. And it's always been at the process. Think about those great-grands in your family or in friends' family who tell the stories of being denied the opportunity to vote or having to pay the cash in order to exercise their democratic right. Now, this history is being played out all over the country. There's all on TV, all on social media, but you represent the point of the spear. See, people can talk history and people can act in the moment of history. So here we are, before the People's Act. How did we get here and why? Well, when we moved the people we needed who were part of the people in the Congress last year, and particularly in the House, they moved forth with H.R. 1. It passed. You get to the Senate, the bill is known as S1. It's not sitting on the table, but it's kind of blowing in the air. You know, you heard that story about justice leaning, and it bends, and it requires a push to get it to where you want. We're doing that push because all of what you heard Franchelle talk about represent those who have been pulling a brick by brick out of the wall that would protect us so that we will have our rights to vote. So we get here today in the midst of a lot of talk, yes, even in this city and around the country, that this For the People's Act is not good. And I know there'll be other speakers speaking to that, but the history is ours. The history has provided us with what we need to know and why we need to stand. And it has always been, as Amanda Gorman said, not only seeing the light, but being the light. You are the light. We are the light. And we have to have a resolve that we're not going to let anybody turn around. And we're here to say, Senator Schumer, we're not going to let you turn around. We're going to keep urging you forward. We know you need the encouragement. We want you to look at the people's army all over the nation that are with you and others like you who know this act needs to be passed. We're not here with a slogan. We're here with a representation of those who are going to help push it forward. Now what we need you to do, Senator Schumer, is do it. It's to hold the voice, that let your voice be our voice, and to repeat what we're saying. Get before the People's Act not only move in your part of Congress, but ensure that it becomes law without messing with anything, without changing anything. And for those people who will see something or hear something around the city and anywhere in the part of the nation, look. Now some going to say, there they go again. Yeah, there we go again. Don't you get mad at those who see and who are prepared to stand and who are proudly standing here with a clarion call to all. This is not just for us, this is for all of us. This is about democracy. We don't need to keep hearing stories of how we were denied and deprived, and certainly in this day and time, we are not going to let you walk over us. I could go on, but I'm just glad to say, look, I'm glad to be a shoulder in this moment because I bear witness. Everybody may seem like they're not with us, but they're with us. Some people still don't understand, but it's always been up to the strong of mind, heart, and character to stand. It's not about having an unhealthy friendship or a favorite friendship. It's about standing straight up for democracy. Dr. King used to say that narrow middle is a challenge because it doesn't lean to one side. It stands up because where we stand today is right for all. Racial, economical, ecological justice. Not later, now. We mean it. We say it with love, and we encourage you with love, Senator Schumer. And you know what? I wanted to just add a little tag. You ought to come back home and stand with us. You ought to stand in front of this house of yours, or somewhere in Niagara Square in the city with us, and show that you won't turn back. Now that's just my tag, but we're here, and I'm glad Open Buffalo. You see, the name speaks for itself. Open Buffalo. Hey, look, you can. We want it open. We know this act will bring back many of the things we need. Do you know in 1965, the Voting Rights Act, the historical Voting Rights Act, will be revitalized in its fullness when we pass this? Do you know the John Lewis Voting Rights Act is going to enhance? Some people think it's all about the South. It's all about the whole nation. And we need to do this. This is our moment. We are the ones. There are others with you. And I'm going wherever you go because you guys, and I'm glad to be part of it, represent the wave that will ride us right through the doors, into the halls, into the seats of democracy to ensure justice is delivered, Senator Schumer. Ensure that S1 I'm sorry, I'm just, we shouldn't have to beg.
That's right.
We shouldn't have to come out on a hot day when everybody's trying to find a safe place. But you can't relax and sit on the sideline when democracy is under attack. And so, one of the causes when democracy is under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back.
When democracy is under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back.
No justice?
No peace.
As my sign says, peace demands action. And this is a beautiful expression of it. Thank you, family.
Thank you. A lot of times when we think about a lot of times we think about what progressive policy looks like, and we think of just small pockets in the city of Buffalo. That it's not a citywide thing, that it's not a regional thing. So I'm so happy that we had our brothers and sisters from across the bridge come over from the city of Niagara Falls. And this is truly a regional fight. And we see a few yellow shirts out here, but y'all are a part of hundreds of volunteers that are expanding across Western New York, started here in Buffalo, but it expanded to my hometown, Niagara Falls, and now operating in Lackawanna and other parts of Western New York. So I want to invite Ezra Scott up just to talk about the perspective across Western New York and also youth.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. No justice, no peace, right? So my name is Ezra Scott Jr. There's a few groups that couldn't make it here from Niagara County. The Niagara Organizing Alliance for Hope, which is NOAA. Also Men Standing Strong under Gloria Dosen. We All We Got, and also I'm sure the NAACP. But in these yellow shirts, as you see, we are the Western New York Peacemakers. I'm the coordinator for them. We are Buffalo Peacemakers under Pastor Giles. We also have the North Tonawanda chapter under the leadership of Krista Garland and Dennis Garland. We also have the North Tonawanda chapter, the West Side chapter, and also the Lockport chapter, helping to cover the Western New York region. We're very grateful to be here locking arms with you all. But again, the work that we do is really addressing the quality of life of the residents all throughout the area. And this right here is the key reason of why we're here. So just as Franchelle mentioned, we're not into politics because we are a 501c3, but we are into policies that affect the well-being of our members, okay? So in the policies such as acts such as for the people, this is something that we have to be here for, standing up for. This right here, we encourage Senator Schumer. We help bring a majority to him, and we expect him to pass it as long as President Biden and all the other elected officials. This right here is key to maintaining a safe community for black and brown people, giving them a voice to be able to speak up in their communities, but also those communities that have historically been impacted by crime, poverty, and social injustices. This creates a way to correct those wrongs and to give them that say. All right? We are speaking for the have-nots. We know it's have-nots and haves. We are here for the have-nots, the people that are voiceless and don't have that opportunity to speak. So we're here to lock arms with you all and keep advocating. For those that don't know, I have some experience in office. I served in the Niagara Falls City Council, so I understand what it is to be an elected official. I also am a 2013 Golden Glove champion as well, so I understand what it is being in a boxing ring. But I bring that up because it was times when I was in that boxing ring where I felt like giving up, felt like dropping, felt like stopping, but it was the voices of the people on the outside the ring that gave me that drive to keep pushing forward and ignited that second win. So I just urge Senator Schumer and President Biden to let our voices ignite them and give them that second win to keep pushing this bill and fighting this worthy and just cause. All right, y'all? No justice, no peace. All right. It's a pleasure to be here, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. I feel older now, but everyone that's speaking after me is all younger than me, and it lets me know. One, it makes me feel incredibly hopeful, right? That it's not just something that our elders are talking about, right? That democracy really is going to be led by a more youthful generation, and that is what we need. And it's not because it's a bunch of people pushing younger people. Like, this is the issue that they are driving themselves. So this is something that I'm incredibly encouraged by. Jillian Hainsworth, who is a wonderful and inspiring artist. She's also the poet laureate for the city of Buffalo. She is the Open Buffalo Director of Leadership Development, responsible for training hundreds of activists from across the region. So she's going to talk a little bit about the community organizing that's happening around the For the People Act.
All right, how we doing? I know it's warm, but we all right? Okay, good. So we're holding these signs that say racial, economic, and ecological justice. Voting rights are racial justice. Voting rights are economic justice. Voting rights are ecological justice. The only way that the community, in the community we know we need in our communities, right, is our streets. We can keep ourselves safe. We can provide what we need, but we need to make sure that people in office are accurately representing what we want and what we need. So many of our communities are historically excluded. So not just marginalized, right? Not just oppressed, but historically excluded, systematically excluded. So they're not just ignoring our voices, they're preventing us from being heard in the first place, preventing us from using them in the first place, and that's the root of the issue. So what have we been doing to make sure that people in the community are being heard? One of the things that we've been doing that I'm the most excited about is postcard campaign. So we've been allowing people in the community, we have almost 200 postcards signed by our everyday citizens here in Buffalo, urging Chuck Schumer to protect their rights to vote, urging Chuck Schumer to remember who he works for, remember who hired him, right? And remember who can fire him, because we know that we have that power. So today we're going to be delivering almost 200 postcards to Chuck Schumer's office. Yeah, make some noise for that, because that's big. Of community members that are making it very clear what we need from our elected official. So before we hand these in, because we're going to do that today, we're going to do it on camera because we need people to know that that's what we're out here doing. If there's anybody out here with us that are standing with us who still want a chance to be heard, who still want the chance to fill out this postcard and let Chuck Schumer know that we know what our communities need, now is your chance. Davone, our youth organizer, is holding them up so you can grab one from him. But I do want to encourage everybody out here to make sure that we are letting our voices be heard. Like Jim Anderson said, it is our duty to make sure. And not only are we fighting for the community and advocating for the community, but we want to empower the community to fight and advocate for ourselves. We want to give the community tools. We don't want to just provide food, right? We want to teach them how to fish. So let's teach each other how to fish. Let's make our voices heard. Let's send these postcards to Chuck Schumer, and let's make sure that the For the People Act gets passed.
All right. Yeah.
All right. I also want to shout out another group from Niagara Falls. When you have to make that trip from across the bridge, the African Heritage Food Co-op. Thank you so much for your support. And also the work that
Buffalo now. We Buffalo too.
but you have a physical presence in the city of Niagara Falls, so it just goes to show the regional support of the For the People Act. So thank you for your presence out here today. Thank you for your roots here in Buffalo, though. Also, I want to call up Tamara Cross. That's going to talk a little bit about the work and the youth work that's going on and For the People Act. Tamara.
Hello, everybody. It's the weather is so nice. You know, the weather is working in our favor. But my name is Tamara Cross. I'm a part of the Youth Action Council, and it's for young adults aged 16 to 24 to really get out there and do the work that we want to see. You know, we're really passionate on the younger level. We're seeing these things, we're having these lived experiences, and we want to do something as well. So something that we've been doing, is having a pop-up cookout. So we just come out in front of the Open Buffalo right at Jefferson and Utica, and we had a table out there, and we were serving free lunch just for the community, just to be out there and really show that we're about what we are passionate about. So we went out and we were serving lunch, and we were also educating the community about this bill. And surprisingly but unsurprisingly, a lot of the people didn't know the severity and the urgency of this act and this bill. So we were out there talking to them, having direct conversations. And it's just really important because as young people, a lot of the times we feel like we're not listened to. That was a big truck. So a lot of the times we feel like we're not listened to, and we feel like a lot of the time our parents aren't even listening to it as far as this advocacy stuff, you know. Why aren't our parents, the people who are working for our parents, the people who are working for us, why aren't we given the basic thing that our ancestors lived for or died for, which is the right to vote, you know? Why is it so hard for us as working class to go and do what we want to do, our democratic right to vote? Why is it so hard for us to do that? So as young people, we were out there having the cookouts, giving the community free lunch, but also educating the community. And lastly, if they had the free time, they were encouraged to just fill out their personal words, a personal letter to the senator, just to tell them, you know, what is important to you, why is voting important to you, but most importantly, what can he do, what is his job, what can he do for you to, you know, express what you want to see in your community. And a lot of the times we're tired of being silent. We are tired of being silent. So with that being said, as young people and as a community, because young people are part of the community, we're all working together to fight the power. And unfortunately, like Jim said, it's unfortunate that we have to beg for our voices to be heard. But with that being said, the fight continues, and youth action, we're out here and we're out doing the action that we set out to do.
All right. I do want to. Oh, she has left the building. And so, India Walton, Democratic nominee for the city of Buffalo, and the Buffalo Common Council has unanimously passed a resolution in support of the Free the People Act. So again, there is regional support for the For the People Act, and let's go deliver some cards, y'all. Are there any questions?
All good.
All right.